When my oldest son Eli was a newborn, I would put him to bed every night. We had this beautiful little ritual going, and we would step into his nursery, this quiet, gentle place, and I'd sing him songs and tell him stories. I taught him to play peekaboo, and he's good. You always think your kid's a genius. Now, we're small people in our family. Length, 20th percentile. Peekaboo skill, 95th. And every night before I put him to bed, I would kiss him and tell him, I'll see you in the morning and the next day and the next. I will always be here for you, bud. And it took me a while, but a few months into this routine, I realized I wasn't saying these things for him. I was saying them for me. See, I was born in Guatemala City in 1982, and my father abandoned our family while I was a baby. Now, I grew up thinking, I'm okay. I mean, I knew I didn't have things that other kids had. I knew I didn't have a dad. I could tell something was missing, but inside, I felt just fine. My sister, 2 years older than me, would cry, and I remember her sobbing, "Quiero a mi papá, quiero a mi papá." I want my dad. And my mother would comfort her as best she could, and I would watch and think to myself, whatever hit her missed me, because I'm fine. Until one night, putting Eli to bed. Something inside me clicked. I think I realized I'd been in this situation before. Beautiful, quiet, safe bedtime. But before, I had been the baby, and someone else had been the father. And now that I was here again, feeling this incomprehensible, bigger than everything love for Eli well up inside me, and feeling his trust in me, it was so absolute. I understood for the first time what my father had abandoned. And it broke me. I cried. It was like an ink sac inside me burst and leaked all over me, and suddenly I had access to all this pain that I thought only my sister had experienced, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I left the nursery and went back into my room. My wife was in bed. She was asleep. I crawled into bed and woke her up with my bawling. She woke up to comfort me, and I just kept repeating, "He left me. He left me. He left me." And my wife held me and comforted me until we both fell asleep. That was the beginning of a half-hearted, frightened search. I would Google my father's name and find stuff here and there, newspaper articles about him, court cases against him, other random stuff. None of this really ever brought me closer to finding him, and that was okay with me because I was terrified of finding the man. So I would take these half measures and then pull the punch. I would find enough about him to feed my curiosity without stoking my fear. Always curious, but always afraid. This went on for years until one night I was home alone. My wife and kids were in California visiting her parents, and it was way too quiet around the house. I made a decision. I'm going to hire a private investigator. I'd learned that it would cost about $1,500, and that night before going to bed, I knelt down and prayed and said, I am going to do this. I need to do this. I need to search for my biological father. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I need it. Will you back me up? And immediately I had a quick thought. Search for his first name, last name, and the word Guatemala on Facebook. I did it right away and found 2 matches for his last name. Now, neither of them were the right age, so they couldn't be my father, but they were both fans of the Facebook page for Guatemala's aviation club, which I knew my father had been president of for a number of years from my Googling. So I had reason to think we might be related. So I wrote the most awkward, unexpected message to both of these poor people. I said, here's my full name, I'm so-and-so's son, and I think we're family. I don't need anything. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm just looking for my father, for connection. I can't explain it. It's like this call of blood that won't leave me alone. Well, after sending those messages, you can imagine I was wired. I was not going to sleep. I started rifling through the photos of one of those resulting profiles. Photo, flip, bam. There he was. That was my father. Now, my mind didn't know it because I'd never seen him that I could remember, but my body knew. It was like my hairline saw his hairline, said, that's me. The deep furrow in my brow said, that's me. And there's a part of me, the part of me that's in charge up here, it's going, what are you doing? You don't want to look like this guy. And then I remembered. Eli, who was now 5, had taken to making up things he and I had in common. Papi, no me gusta la salsa de tomate. I don't like ketchup. Tú y yo somos iguales. You and I are the same. Papi, no me gusta el chicle. Daddy, I don't like gum. That's a lie. Tú y yo somos iguales. You and I are the same. And of course, this would melt me. I would eat it up. I loved it. Yes, somos iguales. My oldest son and I are just the same. And that night, staring at my father's Facebook photo, I realized I was feeling what Eli had felt. Somos iguales. We are the same. I was feeling the force that has bound men together for countless generations. This was love. And it was embarrassing. But I let it rip through me, even though it hurt. One of the 2 Facebook folks got back to me. It turned out we were cousins. He got me my father's email address. I wrote to him and sent pictures. Can you imagine that email message? Introduce yourself to your father. Ready, set, go. He wrote back 60 seconds later saying, I'm at work. I'm so happy to hear from you. I can't write much now, but tonight at home, I will have more time. My heart was pounding. I was flying. I stayed up late that night with my laptop open on my bed. He never wrote back. For a time, I wrote him every day, then weekly, then monthly. Nowadays, I reach out more or less quarterly. I thought him not reaching out to me again was my fault, and I thought I could fix it. So I traveled to Guatemala to try a one-sided let's meet in person mission. I was there for a week, and as each day passed, I could feel the weight of expectation that he would reach out, that we would meet, growing. It didn't hit me that he wasn't going to show until I was on the plane home. A couple days after returning, I was in bed, and my wife was asleep. And we talked about what had not happened on this trip for hours. But I still needed someone to talk to. And so I talked to God. I said, I have done everything that I know how to do to make broken things right. But it hasn't worked. This pain is following me around no matter where I turn. How can I stop hurting? How can I stop being angry if he won't even meet me in person, won't even answer an email? How can I be free if he won't set me free? I want to share a song I wrote with you today about those questions. It's called Peace with a Lion, and I've invited my wife, Noelle, who's been on this journey with me, to join me in singing it. I remember the deafening roar, his weight as I crumbled, a lifeless thud. I remember his teeth at my throat, his claws at my navel, the scent of blood. How do you make peace with a lion? I wanna know. How do you make peace with a lion when the pain won't go? I've been hobbling around for so long, a bundle of torn flesh and broken bones, and it's hard not to yelp with each memory, each worm-covered wound I still haven't outgrown. How do you make peace with a lion? I wanna know. How do you make peace with a lion if the pain won't go? Bring me the hand of the healer, gently bind up what is left of me. Loosen the ropes of my vengefulness, whisper the truth that'll make me free. How do you make peace with a lion? I wanna know. How do you make peace with a lion if the pain won't go? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. After all the questions, I felt words come to my mind and my heart, and they felt like warm water washing over my chest. Don't look to him for restitution. Look to me. I will repay. I had been longing for my father to heal the wounds that he had caused, but he was both unwilling and unable to do it. I'd thought that this would sentence me to a lifetime of personal pain, but that night I learned a higher power could make me whole. The effects of my father's choices didn't have to stay with me forever. And when I realized that God would pay his debt, I knew I didn't have to resent my father anymore. The load of pain and anger was taken from me, and forgiveness filled my wounds. And I knew for the first time that forgiveness wasn't a gift to the aggressor. It was a declaration of independence for the aggrieved. My father didn't need to deserve it. I deserved it. I deserved to be free. And so do you. Thank you.